Hey everybody, how are you tonight? It's Friday. Hello, hello. Next runway tape. All right, well, Allison, you can watch later. Hello, hello, how are you? I hope everybody's doing good tonight, doing very well tonight, doing awesome tonight. Um, I wanted to say thank you to everyone that has sent stars. It's so fun to get stars and get the little notices that you sent stars. So, Veronique, thank you so much for sending stars tonight. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. How are you? Oh my goodness, so much fun. So listen, I couldn't do this earlier in the week because I was still, boy, don't I sound ancient when I say this? I was down with my back and on a little muscle relaxer. So I couldn't do my extra video that I wanted to do for you guys and do that cute heart. And I'm doing, maybe it's not unusual colors, but it's a little darker. Let's say it's a darker heart than I normally do. So I wanted to show you a couple of things, okay? Let's see. Let me see if I took care of everything over here. I think that everybody's text went out. Yes, people problems. I'm not that old, right? But it's so silly. I feel like sometimes sorry. I feel like sometimes I say things and then I'm like, I sound like my grandfather. How funny is this? Hey, y'all. Oh, okay. So let me set this up over here so I can see if anybody pops on. Hello, hello, Barbara. Hi, Lavelle. Hey, Jennifer. So I decided to make this fun heart because I have extra icing. I was working on something else. So I wanted to show you something. So tonight I have a tip already loaded in a bag, and I'll show you how I changed the bags out. I think I've showed this to you guys a lot, but this is a Teco tip 103. You can use a 104, but I pulled this tip specifically because see how I made it a little thinner? I used pliers and squeezed it together and adjusted it and just made it a little bit thinner up here at the top. That's how I like mine when I'm doing what I'm about to do. And then I loaded the tip instead of doing couplers and all that stuff. I loaded the tip in a tipless icing bag, and then I'm going to use this like a sleeve to pull my colors in and out. Okay. And this is some black that was in the freezer so that it would get nice and deep. But we're going to make I need thick black tonight. So this is going to look a little lighter. Normally I would thicken it up and then let it sit overnight, remix it, and then go. But since it's Friday night and I wanted to make a sample of this cookie, we're going to go ahead and, actually, I think I'm going to do 2 cookies. I'm going to show you one with the red ruffle edge and then one with the black ruffle edge. And the ruffle edge is really cool because it makes it like more feminine. The heart looks really neat, but you don't have to do brush embroidery to get that little bit of extra flair on the cookie, right? And y'all know I like extra. I hope everybody is doing very well, though, seriously. The temperature is dropping here. It was so nice earlier today, but it's dropped down to, my thermometer here at the house says I'm at 38 again. I mean, it was like the mildest reprieve and tons of water. And I am not complaining because I know some of you are like getting buried in snow, and I feel for you. I absolutely feel for you. But I'm glad I don't have that this weekend because I have a lot of work to do in the shop. Hey, Suzanne, thank you for the stars. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. My phone is... Let me just make sure okay, so there's a 10-second lag between my phone and my computer. So I'm trying to watch both because I can't always see who's on and off unless I also have my phone up and going. And it's probably going to die on me because I forgot to charge it earlier. But anyway, I have this very saturated black icing that was in the freezer. I pulled it out because I want to make a black ruffle on one of these hearts. I told you it's going to be a darker heart than I normally make. Hey, Maggie, how are you? 28 in Houston. Now, see, that just seems cold. Listen, I'm just warning y'all, if you're going to CookieCon, I was told that Reno is still going to be cold the first week of March. So you can find me wearing my Uggs. And I'm not even really concerned if the fashion police are there and you don't like Uggs. My Uggs are like my favorite footwear. And that's what you'll find me in. I even bought a new pair. I bought a new pair just so my toes would be nice and toasty. So let's see. Anyway, so what we have tonight is we have Flood Consistency White. I have 2 bags of Flood Consistency White. And boy, did my royal icing turn out pretty today. So pretty. Then I have a Flood Consistency really dark red. And then I've got a little bit lighter red, thick consistency that we'll be putting through the bag. We're not going to do a white ruffle heart. We're going to do dark ruffles on the outside tonight. And now I'm just working with this saturated black, trying to keep it on camera for you because I told you I'd show you a little bit of icing consistency. So I literally want this icing as thick as possible that I can pipe it through that 103 tip. That's how thick I want it. And it doesn't really have a second count. Like, I don't want it to move. Once it's on the cookie, that's where I want it to stay. One of the reasons for that, you guys, has to do with color transferring back and forth. Like what we cookiers call color bleed on a cookie, or what do y'all call it? Icing bleed, I think. I don't know. I don't know why I can't think of that right now. Probably because it's Friday night and it's been a long week. I'm pretty sure it's color bleed, right? It's color bleed. Somebody help me over in the comments. Isn't that what we call it? I normally call it, Jana, how are you? I normally call it color leaching, where it goes back and forth. But I'm pretty sure y'all always call it color bleed, where one color goes into another. So the reason I decided to make this really dark ruffle, either the red or the black, for my heart, I decided that I would make that the thicker part because that means there's less loose moisture, right? It's thicker, it's drier. Hey, did I say your name right tonight, by the way? Just checking. I've been practicing. Names are important, you guys. Words are important. I hope you got to be an inspiration to somebody today. So let's go back to icing before I jump off and go to meddling, okay? So on here, I want this to be, since it is my darker, more saturated color, I want it to have less loose liquid in it, right? Like, I don't want it to be a thin icing. I want to do it thicker. And then I shouldn't have any trouble with color bleed or color leaching or the colors going back and forth, because I'm going to put a dark red right up next to this. But can you guys see in the camera? Let me lift it. Can you see in the camera? You see how it's still got that really glossy spot where the light is hitting it? It's not thick enough yet. That's too much loose water. If I go to pipe that, it won't hold the petals. Now, it is to the point where it normally gets where it starts to hurt my hand when I'm mixing it because it's so thick. Yay, I said your name right. Woohoo, win for me today. Thank you. Thank you for the patience until I got it, and the phonetical, God, why can't I talk tonight? The phonetic spelling that you gave me. Am I saying that right? You guys, I'm literally so tired. So tired tonight. But I needed to jump on and get in my happy place with y'all for a few hours. So you'll just have to overlook the things that come along with being this tired and try to pull a technique or two out of the cookie because, you know, it's free. All right, let me put this on the side here. All right, I think this is going to be good because it's starting to go matte finish. But you see how dark my black was, that I've added that much white powdered sugar and it's still black? That's because of that little trick about oversaturating and putting in the freezer and then letting it develop even more. So that when you're thinning it out by adding the powdered sugar or thinning it for flood icing, you've got that really great base. Plus this black in particular, you guys, it started with a red base before it was black. So it was kind of like kitchen sink icing, where you take all your leftovers and put them together. This one had a lot of red in the leftover icing that started as the base for the black. All right, now I'm sorry, but my hand's cramping, so you have to give me just a second because I have to let this come out. Okay. And then I got to get the last of these bubbles. And you see how I'm smushing side to side? I'm not whipping it. I don't want to whip more air into it because I'm about to use it, okay? Did you guys hear that? My husband is making chocolate chip cookies. I might make all the decorated sugar cookies, but he makes the chocolate chip. Isn't that nice? All right. I think we're almost there. Okay, so basically, you guys, if I try to knock this off, it's not coming off, it's not moving, which means when I pipe this, it's going to stay exactly, you see, exactly where I put it on the cookie. Now, that's for tonight. If I let this sit overnight, it's going to break down, and I'll have to re-thicken it again tomorrow because it's very hard to get to that super thick piping consistency, like the non-moving piping consistency that we're going for. And it'd be the same consistency tomorrow. It's not going to stay this thick. It's going to work itself together and break down. But I think this looks really good. All right. So my little trick with the champagne glass, because I have trouble with that tendon in my hand. So I have this glass. Somehow I got powdered sugar all the way up on this keyboard. So this is a tipless bag from Bee's Baked Art. Okay. Hey, Linda, how are you? Hi, Kathy. So I will probably load because I don't want to, this is so thick. Like this is way thicker than even toothpaste icing, okay? You really can't give it a second because it's so thick it shouldn't move. You see what I'm saying? Like people that count icing, this is like infinity icing because it isn't going to move. You can sit there and watch it forever and it's going to dry right where you put it, which means I cannot overfill the bag because it'll be too hard to push out. So the bags are inexpensive. They're good quality bags. They're inexpensive. So better to use a few more bags than have to buy a brace or something for your hand, right? Hey, Facebook user, how are you? Hi, Cindy, how are you? All right, I'm going to trim the tip on this, not to signify that it's this super thick icing, but just to keep as much plastic out of your visual. Excuse me. And remember, the reason that I'm mixing the icing up on camera is, I think I mentioned, because a couple people had consistency questions when they heard I was doing this ruffle cookie. They wanted to see it. So I'm taking the extra time to show you how thick this is and that it doesn't move. Also, freezer, this black icing, the base of it was developing in the freezer for about a week. I think not since this Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, so maybe 10 days. I think that's when I took all the extra icing, was that day, and mixed everything together and then added some more. My favorite black, you guys, Master Elite. It's a dry powder by the Sugar Art. Okay. And I have gloves on because my hands look like Smurf hands from something I was working on earlier. And I couldn't get everything off my hands. So I just went ahead and put a pair of gloves on. That's the only reason I have gloves on tonight. Usually when I'm just doing demos on camera, I don't wear them. It causes too much with the camera trying to focus and whatnot. But tonight I'm wearing them because I don't want blue Smurf hands in the video. And it's very weird to be on tonight because I was just on a Zoom call last night. And when you're on a Zoom call, you know, people can talk to you. So it's weird. It's quiet in here. No, you do not get to see my blue Smurf hands tonight, but thank you for asking. All right. So let's get going on our cookie. My cutter arrived. I have a huge scallop shaped heart. It's like 4 and 4 1/4 inches. It's what we used in our Valentine class. And then I ordered in this cutter, which is the same shape because I needed it for a project because we were trying to keep the cost down. So I needed to lower the size of the cookies. So this is a 3 1/4. Okay. So basically what I did was to keep their budget where I could work with it and do the number of cookies they needed. I reduced the size of the cookie to offset the upcharge for doing the extra work of the fancy ruffles and things, right? That's what I would normally do. So I'm going to start with this smaller bag. I hope this one works. And I'm also, remind me if I forget, remind me to tell you about the heart outline, okay? Because it has to do with the color. A little trick you can learn that'll help with the color. Hey, Mary Lynn, how are you? Okay, so this is my tip. I'm using this tip that's loaded into a tipless bag, right, as my sleeve so that I can change out my thick icings and use this same tip and not have a bunch of tips to clean tonight. So I'm going to, if you've never seen this done before, I'm holding my bag up to the tip. I want to cut it right in this area straight across enough that it's going to drop into the tip. So this part of the bag doesn't get messy, right? Because that's just messy when it dries, but high enough up that it doesn't, the plastic doesn't interfere with the icing coming out of the tip. Okay. That way you'll still get a really pretty design. So you do that basically by eyeballing it. You can see the bag next to this. So I'm going to come right in this area and I'm just going to cut straight across. Now, out of habit, I mushed the bag, flattened the bag with the seam up because that's what I do when I'm piping with a tipless bag. But in this case, you didn't really have to do that. But out of habit, I just seem to do it all the time. And I just noticed I did it, and I don't want you to watch the video and message me later and say, hey, did you have to do that? You did not have to do that in this case. Hey, Jen, I don't know why your name didn't show. You usually show all the time. All right, so see how it just slid right in there? And now I'm going to give it a little squeeze, make sure it's fully in there, that it's not oozing back up the tipless bag. And then because I didn't do a ruffle before we came on live, I want to show you this, okay? I prefer to go with the smaller end of the tier. First of all, I prefer to go where it is parallel to the surface you're working on, okay? And when I'm doing this kind of ruffle, I like to hold it in my hand, but I am going to try to pipe one for you tonight on a turntable because somebody asked me if it was possible. And to be honest with you, I don't know because I don't normally do it that way. So we'll have a little experimenting tonight. But I like to hold the tip for this ruffle in particular. I like to hold the tip parallel the bag, and I like the slightly larger part of the teardrop facing towards me so that I can work outward in loops and use my left hand to rotate my cookie, okay? So for instance, let me show you what that looks like, and then we'll do it on the cookie, okay? So if I were to start like this, I would be working like this and bringing my ruffle around, okay? See the cool ruffle? And you see how it's not moving? It's going to dry just like that. Now, let me show you what it would be if you flip it the other way. If you want to do it the other way, go ahead. It's not going to hurt a thing if you want to do it the other way. It just makes a very different looking edge on the ruffle. Can you see the difference? How with the teardrop shape out, it makes that really fat looking ruffle. And this way it's like, or really, let's call it a thick. I don't want to offend the ruffle. Let's call it a thick ruffle. And then this makes an almost feathery ruffle. Do you see the difference? So this has a great use though. Doing it this way where you get that thicker rounded edge is really great in the summertime for certain types of royal icing transfers for flowers. But you just do it any way you want to, okay? All right, now I'm going to go back to the way I would normally do it, and we're going to start out like this. And I'm just going to go up into each of these scalloped areas because I don't want to do brush embroidery. I just want this cool little ruffle, okay? I'm going to try to stay close to the edge, but really what I'm after is that I'm going to come back in here and I'm probably going to clean up a little bit of this black ruffle so that my heart doesn't have to be so high. And you just make your ruffles as far apart or as close together as you want. And just come in as far or as little as you want to, okay? But I know what I'm doing with the heart, like what I want to use this sample for. So I'm making a nice wide edge because that was my design, but you don't have to do that. You can get a smaller tip, like one of the 101S's, and you can go, I think it's a 101S. I hope I said that right. And you can go right to the edge of the cookie if you want. Okay, you don't have to come in this far. This is just what I'm doing for the design that I'm doing. And also, if you're going to be bagging these, you're going to want to be extra careful, pull in even a little further, and keep this ruffle fully on top of the cookie so that when the ruffle dries, so let me show you what I'm talking about. If you're going to bag them, if this is not thick enough, right? You see how it's just a little overhang on my cookie? If it's not thick enough so that it dries hard, when it goes in the bag, you risk making all those little like pebbly pieces in the bottom of your bag because this ruffle breaks and you don't want that. Now, this one's not getting bagged, so it doesn't matter. But just pointing it out to you so that you understand, okay? And again, totally okay if you don't want to do this. And somehow I left my little boo-boo stick at the store. So I hope that I'm going to be able to clean this up just a smidge with my thingamajiggy. I love my thingamajiggy, don't you guys? I'm so glad I was able to get those in a couple kits for you. And I got to watch for their next sale so I can stock up again because we have a lot of new cookiers in our group, and we're starting to increase the number of boxes that we sell each time we do a class box. So I want to make sure I can get that back in there for you because if you don't have one, it's the best tool. This and little boo-boo sticks, they both serve their purpose, but this one's pink. So it gets an extra star. Now, I'm taking my time in cleaning this up. Really, you probably don't need to do all this, but I want to show you this for a reason. Okay. So remember before in a video, hey, Elisa, how are you today? So remember in a video a couple of months ago, aren't those ruffles pretty, by the way? Look how pretty that is. Okay. Another reason that you might want to make this ruffle smaller is because it's a highly saturated dark icing. So this could stain teeth, lips, and tongue, right? So you may want to put a little less on there, but for what I'm using it for, it's totally cool like this. So we talked a couple months ago about how much water was in the icing and having two consistencies of a dark icing next to each other need to both have a similar water content so that the drier one is not pulling the water and therefore pulling the color from the more liquid or more wet icing. I hope I said that right. So I'm going to show you something, a little trick, okay? This helps sometimes. It doesn't help every time. It helps sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my bag of thick red, and I'm going to drop an outline next to my thick black before I flood the middle with my red flood. That way my red flood is touching my thick red, which is touching my thick black. And tomorrow when I post pictures of this, we should not have any color bleed. But I'm just going to do a little outline, like a little dam area, literally to contain the flood, okay? So this will help sometimes, but you have to be able to plan it in your design for this to work, okay? So I'm going to go right on top of the black, and I'm going to do my little heart, okay? And it's just the underlying outline, so if it's not perfect, I can move it with my scribe, but I need it to be pretty close to the shape that I want because it's a thick icing. So, and I'm using it to make that color block area. So thick black next to thick red and then flood. So hopefully we won't have color bleed, okay? We won't have any colors leaching back and forth based on the different consistencies of the icing. So you see what I did? Okay, it will work sometimes. It will not work all of the time. Now I'm going to my darker red, which is, and I can go right away and do this because that's such a thick icing. Okay. So let me move this up and I'm just going to flood right here. I did make these knowing that I was doing this design. This is why your planning and prep work is so important. Knowing I was doing this design, I did make full 1/4 inch cookies for this, okay? Hey, who thinks this is genius? I want to tell you thank you. I appreciate you. Knowing that I was going to do this design and have that thick icing in a thick ruffle so that it was real frilly looking, I made a full 1/4 inch cookie, right? Like that's the biggest cookie I make is a 1/4 inch cookie. So I normally 3/8, sometimes a 1/4, but I made this a full 1/4 inches specifically to balance the fact that it was going to have so much icing. So that was all part of the planning. And that had to be planned well in advance because my dough had to be rolled to that thickness. And then it went in the freezer so the flavors could continue to develop. Okay. Now I'm going to set one layer of my dark red over the underneath red. Okay. Just remember when someone else tells you about this trick, because no one ever taught me this trick. This is my trick. Doesn't mean it's not out there and that people don't know about it. But if you know they learned it from me, you just remember where you heard it first. I am digging these colors together, you guys. So pretty. So, so pretty. All right, now I'm loading this up a little bit because I want this red to be really raised. Can you tell this is for a photograph? It's for a photograph. All right, so let me give it my little shake, shake, shake that I like so much, okay? Give it my little shake, shake, shake. Look at, isn't that beautiful? Look at that icing tonight. That icing today, boy, it just came out perfect. When I was mixing it, it was like just the right color. It was just the right consistency. I made a double batch. Well, I made more than a double batch, but I made a double batch to bring to the cookie studio so that it would be really thick and hopefully not break down too much. Now, let me tell you something else while I'm thinking about it. When you're working with a thick saturated icing like this, it's really important that it is mixed up well before you start piping with it, because if it isn't, then when you go to pipe with it, what's going to happen is you're going to actually see wherever you piped, and then you're going to have to do a lot of scribe work. Okay, you'll have to do a lot of scribe work to get those rings and areas out of there. Now, make sure you don't do what I just did and shake too much so that your icing goes over that dam we made. So now we might have trouble tomorrow on this cookie. I might have to hide that part because when I shook it that last time, I had so much in it that it went over the other color, which is fine, except that it's going to cause my heart to be misshapen. So now I got to do a little repair work around the heart and probably add a little bit over in that corner, because once I shook it, it sank really good, which is fine. The sinking is no problem. It's just that I do not want, I don't want it to be concave. I want it to be nice and full when it comes out of the dehydrator later. All right. And I think we're going to do another one like this, and we're going to pipe. I think we're going to do it with a red border. I'm going to do a red border next. And then I'm going to do, can you see it? Yeah, I'm on camera. I just want to make sure I didn't go off frame on you guys. Sometimes it's hard to see, especially on a shape that needs to be really particular. Sometimes it's hard to see on camera. You know, normally I just turn it up right, but All right, now let me drag this down a little bit at the bottom to get a point. And then we're going to switch over and we're going to do a red outline around the edge. And then we're going to do white as a filling. And I'm not going to do a thick white as my border so that I can show you that tomorrow, because most likely that one will color bleed. So I want you to see the difference and understand what I'm talking about just in case you're new, okay? All right, this should still be okay though and work for what I need to use it for tomorrow. Isn't that pretty? Using that black ruffle and a red heart like this. So pretty. All right, so should I try the turntable? I think I'm okay with this one. Just give it a little bit and get it over here into the dehydrator. Oops, sorry, Penny. Penny came to visit. All right, let's do another black ruffle before I move to the red, just in case that one that spilled over doesn't look good. And then I'll do it on the, I'll try this one on the turntable for you. Do I have my turntable here? I usually have my turntable around. I usually have trouble looking for my no skid mat. All right, so here is my turntable, and it's pink and glittery. Fun, 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 huh? Whoops. Knocked you over again, girls. All right, and then this is my little nose slip pad, the Genie mini pad. These are so inexpensive. So you can find them on the Creative Cookier site. Let me put this back up so I can see you if you come in on this screen instead. Okay. And we'll try it this way. I'm not really very good with using this for this kind of stuff, but I did have someone that has a hand issue that was like, can you just try it on there and see if it'll work? So I'm going to try it and we're going to see if it works. And it probably is going to work just fine. It's just not how I normally do it. Okay. And I'm going to try to make a smaller ruffle so there's not so much icing on the cookie. Okay. Well, that's not too bad. And again, I have the small part of the, I just don't feel like I have as much control. It's great for piping flowers, but I feel like I don't have as much control with how I'm angling to create my ruffle to stay in those scallops. See what I mean? It's a lot more icing on the cookie in a smaller area because I'm not able to put it down on the cookie. So I think I'm going to stick with this. You all right, baby? They know I'm not supposed to be live streaming tonight. I'm supposed to be hanging out with them, giving them belly rubs. But I really wanted to try to finish this. You guys want diamond dust on this? Let me show you what it'll look like with a little diamond dust. Got to do it on this part, otherwise it has to be on the whole heart. And I don't really want it on the whole heart, not for what I'm using it for. See? So there's the ruffle again. This is what it'll look like over here if you stay a little further in on the cookie. Diamond, Lavelle's saying diamond dust. Yes. Okay, let's do some diamond dust. Sorry, guys, but turntable in this case with these ruffles, not my friend. So you saw 3 or 4 petals being done with it. Let's see if I have. Ooh, let's use silver. I haven't used silver in a long time. Let's use some silver diamond dust on the black. That will show up. Oh, look how pretty, you guys. Oh, yes. Look at that. That's very pretty. I should get my my black Bake-El dust out. I have black sparkle dust from Bake-El that we got at Halloween, during Halloween time. Okay, I like that. I like how that looks. I'm just pulling these in a little bit. See how I'm just pushing them in with my gloved hand so that I don't have to worry about that. Then I'm going to clean this heart up for just a second. Let's put this down, find my points, take a little bit of this off. It's just a little bit too much. I mean, it's workable, but just pull a little off. This is for a photos, so it's okay if we spend a little more time. Normally, guys, if I was doing a whole bunch of these and they all had to be cleaned up, if there was no diamond dust involved, I would set a little icing bowl to the side and I'd be putting all this icing I'm scraping off into a bowl to make it part of the kitchen sink icing base when I get this done. But this has diamond dust in it, and so I won't be saving it. So it doesn't matter that I'm scraping it, okay? I just want to clean this up a little bit because I don't want my red to have to go so high that it spills over like it did a minute ago, okay? So remember, we're using our thick red next to our thick black so that our flood red doesn't touch the thick black, okay? So let's get this down. Little diamond dust. If your ruffle's a little shaky, a little trick for you, your diamond dust will help suck up some of the moisture if you need to handle some ruffles, combat some moisture where your ruffles are moving too much. The diamond dust will take a little bit of that pressure off you. Not a lot. It's not enough that if your icing's too loose, you shouldn't stop and rebag, right? You should do that. But if it's just a little bit, it'll suck up a little bit of moisture. So see how I have that nice border? Okay. And now I'm going to go in with my red flood. And I'm going to try to make sure this doesn't spill over because I want that nice clean edge. Let's just get this. Oops. Oh, I just felt that in my hand. Wow. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Hey, Julie, how are you? Did you finish up for the night? All right. I'm not shaking it this time because I don't want it to spill over my... Hey, Missy, how are you? I don't want it to spill over my outline, okay? I want this nice and flat. Now, let me tell you something else. If you're going to airbrush on the middle heart, you need to take that into consideration too. And with your stencil, you need to know what size heart you're going to do in the center of your cookie so you can make a stencil blocker okay. You could tape off your stencil if you're only doing a few. But if you're doing a bunch and you know you're going to have to wash that stencil, you really should not wash the stencil with the tape attached to your stencil, right? You know why, chemicals. So make yourself, even if you have to hand cut it, make yourself a stencil blocker, even if it's paper, to put there and then put your stencil down so you don't get whatever you're going to spray on that heart onto your black ruffle. With the exception of, really doesn't matter if you're spraying black, right? It's not going to matter if you're spraying black and you're pretty good with an airbrush. You're going to be able to stay in that center area with no problem. Okay, so here is this one, and you can see it all stayed within, so that's good. Okay, now let's do a red ruffle. Let me see if I have another cookie handy. Then we're going to do a red ruffle, okay? I think I have another. I think I baked a bunch of extras of these. Yeah, let's do, oops, that's the leprechaun cookie. We don't want that tonight. That's for our other class. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I knocked that over. Let's see if we're still level when I get back in my little seat. I don't know what you just saw because I completely knocked the camera. No, you have to go see Dad. No, I told you I was live streaming. You got to go see your daddy. Let me see if I can get it back where it's supposed to be real quick. I wasn't even thinking about that when I reached over the top of all this. You know, there's always so much stuff when you're live streaming. Let's see if I got that right. Are we okay? Am I reasonably level? What are you seeing there? Okay, you're seeing my stand. So let me see if I can get that to disappear. No, I can't. So let's turn it a little more. Hold on. There we go. That should do it. If I got my camera just right. That's so funny. Are we back to normal? We just have this. It's so funny with the virtual backgrounds, what shows and doesn't show. You see how when I touch it, it erases it and then it brings it back. All right, so just don't worry about that for the purposes of the video, okay? I'm going to turn it down just a little bit more. Maybe it won't pick up as much of it. Let's see if that works. I think that's better, right? Is that good? All right, so let's run with that. Now, let's change out our thick black that we used. See how clean the bag is? Oh, see? So let's take our thick red. I have a smaller red. I'm going to leave the other one with the small hole. And I have a small red. I'm going to cut about the same amount off the end. Let's drop this down into the bag. Make sure I have a really big bag clip on this one, so I'm going to drop it in and then put the bag clip. Let me make sure it's in there though. Yeah, put the bag clip on the outside of this and then trim it because the bag clip's really too big to go in the bag, okay? All right, and I'm getting a low power warning on my phone. Hold on just a second, girls. I'll be in there a few minutes. You know what it is? They smell the cookies and they can't have any because there's chocolate, but I'm an easier mark than their dad. So they come to me to say, oh, there's something in there that I want. All right, now let's purge this. Now look how pretty that would be. Just saying, if you wanted to plan for that, you could. But purge the tip of the bag so you're to the red. And if you really just don't want to mess with losing that little bit of icing, then what you should do is just set up the same tip in a different sleeve, okay? Let's go ahead and do our red. How fun is this? Nope. Go see your dad. Nope. No. Can you hear her tapping her feet? This is what she does when she wants something. She's tapping her feet at me like she's ready to play. I just realized in dog years, she's like 90 years old. So I cut her a lot of slack. It's hard to fuss at them for sassing you when they're that old and they're that healthy, right? I'm just thankful she's healthy. All right. So now she's bored. She's getting in her bed. This is the progression. Thank you for bearing with it. Because I wouldn't trade them. All right. Here we go. All right. I do like these ruffles. It's so pretty. I think maybe on the next one, I think I'll really try to get a little bit more fanned out ruffle though and see what that looks like. But I do like this. I did these last year or the year before. I can't remember. They were in our Valentine sets because I didn't want to do all the brush embroidery because I had too many cookie sets to make. And I wanted them to just have something in the set that was really fancy, right? This red is really thick. It's literally hurting my hand right now to pipe this. All right, so let's do a little scraping with this one, okay? You like them, Nancy? I'm glad you like them. Let's do a little bit of scraping. It is Friday night, right? So I'm not stepping on anybody else's tutorial time that I normally support. I don't think any of my cookie friends normally broadcast on Friday night. It is Friday night though, right? Not Thursday. I hope it is because I'm planning. I did all my prep work as if it were Saturday tomorrow. Who's excited about CookieCon? I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet Timbo in person. Got to chat with him just a little bit tonight, so I'm excited. He's excited. How many of you are taking his classes? He mentioned you all. He mentioned the cookie snack attackers. Does that make you feel good? Because it did make me feel good. Not like prideful good, but just good that you all have a good reputation. I'll put myself in there. We all have a good reputation. How's that? I can say I'm part of the group, right? Look at this red, you guys, and look at that black edge, which makes me think, let me just say this too. I really like that black on the edge. If you didn't pipe black before, so that wasn't already in the bag, you could do this whole ruffle in red and come back with just the littlest bit of black food gel watered down with Everclear and hit the tips of this after 24 hours of drying. You could hit the tips of this with the black, and that would be beautiful. Or you could brush it from the outside in. So maybe I'll do that on one of my hearts tomorrow. And I'm sorry I had to pull the heart out of frame a little bit there, but it's really hard for me to see heart shapes unless they're turned sideways. I don't know why, but this is one of the most, this is worse than doing a hexagon for me. All right, so here's my red. I'm going to use my thick red. Hey, Priscilla. Me too, Barbara. I love black and red together. You can do a similar ruffle with a tipless bag and no tip, but it doesn't look like this one. And to be honest, if I had thought about it, I would have brought home my Russian piping tip number 90 ruffle, and that's what I would have done on here, like the one I made the poppies with last year. But this is okay for tonight. This is good. All right, now I'm going to use my other bag of thick red, and I'm going to put a layer of thick red down, okay, for this part to make my little outline. Is my mic okay tonight too, guys? Because I did notice in our last class video, I think I took so much stuff out of my cookie studio that the last class that I recorded, which is really the only video I've been able to look at lately, yeah, we're going to fill this one with white, remember? White, we're doing this one white. It sounded almost hollow in here. All right, this is probably going to color bleed, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do to it, you're not going to, even if it does, you're not going to be able to tell. So in the design, I took into account that I wanted to try white and red together, and what I'm going to be doing on top of the white will hide any color bleed from the red, okay? Because I know that if you are cookiers, you're sitting at home cringing right now, going, oh my God, I never do red next to white or white next to red or whatever. I don't normally either. And for the same reason you're cringing right now, I don't normally do it for that reason. And I definitely wouldn't risk it on a whole bunch of cookies. But this is cookies for a photo I need to take. So I need something really specific to match something. And again, I just have gloves on if you joined us late. Nothing's wrong. I'm not hurt. Nothing weird, because you know I like to film my videos without gloves so it doesn't make the camera refocus so much. But I have gloves on because I have blue Smurf hands again. Thank you. Highly saturated blue food dust. Food coloring dust. Look, that's really pretty, right? You see it? Okay. All right. So that's it for tonight. Unless you guys have questions, tell me if you have questions. I'll roll through the comments really quick and we'll see. And then if you guys are interested in learning about using Flex Frost sheets to make edible lace, then I will be our next Tuesday night, instead of just having a tutorial in our group, we're going to be doing a tutorial with icing images, and we're going to use their Flex Frost fabric sheets to make edible lace. And I'm going to demonstrate that in a sugar veil mat, and I'll have all the links for you, but mark your calendars for that. That is next Tuesday night. Let's see, what is that said about? What is now the time for the story? Debbie, see, this is bad. I don't even remember what the story is. What was the story about that I was going to tell you? Help me. What were we talking about when I said I would tell you a story? I can't remember. Seriously, I can't remember. This is not even a full hour video yet, and I can't remember. It's going to be broadcast there and in our group and on Seriously Sweet, and I'll share it to my personal page for you guys, okay? So it'll be on their page and all of our pages. You said, oh, yeah, here's the story. Okay, so if you don't have your boxes yet, the reason most of you have stickers on the inside is because I placed a really cute sticker that, Debbie, what does that sticker say on your box? It says, does it say beautiful items inside or beautiful pink items inside? What does it say? I can't remember. You tell me what it says really quick and I'll tell you the story because the story's funny. I just want to get it right. What's that sticker say on your box? The box is it's the sticker I bought this time to put on your Easter kits, the first Easter kit that went out. I know you posted it in our group. Barbie, you get your box tomorrow. Oh, yes. I'm so excited, Barbie. So it says extremely cute items inside, and it's a cute little pink sticker on your box. So some of you have it in two places. The reason you have it in two places is because when I was putting the sticker on the outside of the box so that it would show, so that it was cute, right? Because the sticker that's holding your tissue together is super cute. And of course, Easter themed, because why not? You're special. I wanted you to feel special when you got your box. So that sticker was on the outside and someone came by and they saw the sticker and they made a comment to me that went something to the nature of, people that don't know that these are cookie items are going to see this pink box with this sticker that says extremely cute items inside and think you're shipping something else. Like, I believe their implication was like negligees or something, right? That it was one of those kind of boxes. So then I was like, whoa, seriously? And they were like, yeah, probably, because not, the boxes are cute and I get it because you do everything in pink and whatever. But there's the possibility with these stickers that somebody's going to think you're, seeing the boxes in the mail. They're not going to think that of me. They don't know what the store they came from, but they're going to see the box and that sticker and be thinking, oh, I wonder what's in here. And I'm like, well, if they open it, they're going to be really disappointed that it's just cookie supplies if they're looking for naughty negligees or something, right? So I'm laughing. And then I thought, I better stop putting these stickers that say extremely cute items inside on the outside of the box. So then I put it on the inside of the box. So some of you have two stickers because I'd already put it on the outside and it wouldn't peel off. So if any of your mail carriers say something to you, I'm sorry, but I can't control what they're thinking. I'm still going to ship pink boxes because it makes me happy when I'm packing them. But that was the story and it really happened and it was funny. But then I thought, with the week I've been having, maybe I should find some even more, some more funny stickers and do that for next time. But then I decided no, because I knew. So if I do it now, it will be bad. Whereas if I did it before, it was just funny accident, right? Yeah, Lavelle, your neighbors may wonder. It never occurred to me, but I laughed until I was crying once they left. Like, in front of them, I tried to hold it together, but when they walked off, I was like, what will people think of? So anyway, I don't know what's going to be on your next box, but there's your funny story for tonight. I hope I have brought some entertainment value as well as some educational value to your life. And I'm going to sign off for tonight. It was fun to spend some time with you. And I hope to see you this weekend. I have some other things. Wait, are you going to let your husband see it on purpose? Let me see what this says. If mine's on the outside, I'm going to tease my husband. Oh my gosh. Yes. And video it. Can you video it? Get him to agree to be on video. That would be so much fun. I was like, you guys really you're bored if that's like your mind's jumping, but whatever. It was funny. But that's the story. So that is why some of you, your sticker is hidden inside the box because I chose to put it there after the comment was made. And some of you have two because I had already put it on the outside and then I hid it on the inside. Okay. after that. So you would have it in both places. And I hope you really enjoy these boxes. I'm going to sign off. You guys have a great night. And I will try to see you at least one more time this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, with another bonus, because I have something set aside that I really want to show you. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. Try to be safe. Stay warm. I hope everyone has electric